Hi, daily coaching and accountability folks. David Alpern of Mastery Consulting with an interesting topic about the weekly meeting. The weekly meeting. It's a bread and butter staple of corporate America and a key ingredient to business success. Now, before I started doing this retail coaching thing, if you will, and was working for many years in corporate America or however you want to term it, and then even when I went into consulting initially and worked with some companies on larger projects, when they brought me in, one of the first things that I did was initiate a weekly meeting. Why? Because it's crucial to results. Ooh, the problem now is I'm working with so many people in the 1099 world who are, I like to say that the gift of the 1099 world is unlimited income, freedom of schedule. And the curse of the 1099 world is unlimited income, freedom of schedule. And that everybody I know could use just a little bit of W-2 corporate structure, if you will. We don't like, we want, I love the freedom of not reporting to anyone and building our own businesses and all that kind of stuff, but we all need just a little bit of that reporting and accountability, if you will. So one of the three essential accountabilities in business is the weekly meeting. You got the daily accountability, like we're doing, weekly accountability, which is what we're talking about here on this video, and monthly, which is something higher level, like our board of directors, right? So what's the weekly meeting look like? Well, the weekly meeting is a group of individuals, ideally 6 to 12-ish, 8 to 12, kind of a sweet spot, who get together on a weekly basis, same day of the week, same time. The ritual and discipline of it is crucial. That it's weekly is essential. So when I started helping, as some of you know the story, working with my brother-in-law and his friends a number of years ago, and their performance skyrocketed from 17 million in volume to 37 to 78 million in 2 years. We met on Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. for an hour, and it was discipline. And there was no such thing as days off unless it was holidays. There was no such thing. So we met, and everybody was required to schedule appointments and things around that and not during that essential time. So you got to create the ritual. If you're watching this video and you're a client of mine and you're wondering why are we doing every other week meetings, for me, every other week is plenty for a coach to come in with organizations, but it is really crucial, in my opinion, for you to continuously meet on the weeks when I'm not there, for example. So because an organization doesn't need to be tethered to me, for Pete's sakes. I like to tell people, if 3, 4 years from now, you still need me, then we both probably have a problem, if you know what I mean. Don't get me wrong. I have clients I've been working with for years and I love it. The relationships are great and important and wonderful, but you have to build your own infrastructure, your own mousetrap, your company within a company, right? So the weekly meeting is something you should be doing every week, regardless of who's there with you or not. What does it look like? Well, as we said, it's, let's just call it 6 to 12 people, 8 or 9's a sweet spot maybe. And you spend the first few minutes going through metrics. Each person has 60 seconds, no more, to read off their weekly total metrics. And it could be a couple of activity metrics. It could be a pipeline numbers after that, and that's it. There's no storytelling. It's just reading off the numbers. So let's just pretend I'm Dave. I gathered 30 new leads during the course of the week. I had, 323 contacts. I had whatever those categories you're measuring. These are just ones that I typically do with folks that I'm working with. Number 3, I sent out, 220 messages to create appointments. Number 4 is I went on 4 appointments face-to-face with potential new clients. And then the pipeline. And the pipeline could be hot leads or escrows or closes, or depending upon the industry you're in. Okay. So you read off those numbers. You have 60 seconds. There's no color commentary. It's just reading the numbers and you go around the room. And whoever's in charge of the meeting, by the way, is not critiquing and playing boss here. In fact, the accountability doesn't come from that person speaking. The accountability comes from you verbalizing out loud in front of peers. The accountability is self-accountability. That's always the best form to get you to change, right? After the metrics, which only takes 8 or 10 minutes, the rest of the meeting literally is to review, either as a group, one particular person's stuck or obstacle and help create and brainstorm possible solutions, or it's for a leader to teach new paradigms and business ideas. There is one thing I want to share with you in wrapping up on this video, though. How do you know you have the kind of group of 6 to 12 individuals that's going to really, really impact results? And this one may be a bit of a bummer for some of you out there, but if you wish for me to speak the truth, this is it. The best groups have at least 3 drivers, 3 stronger, sharky, if you will, leaders. They're the best groups. I've been doing groups and weekly meetings in organizations for literally decades. I still do them now today with client-based groups. And I'm telling you right now, there's more movement into performance when there are three result-oriented, Sharky-ish drivers in the group, because even if the rest of the group is not that personality type, they will play a little bit of follow the leader. Now, if there's only one driver, the one driver gets too bored, there's not enough competition or challenge for them in the group, they get bored and quit. If there's two, then there's the chance that one of them doesn't show up on occasion, which you don't want to have. You want to have someone. But when there's three, there's an entirely different dynamic. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. So as you're forming your own groups, be attentive to the personality. Now, the other personality types are really rubbed the wrong way oftentimes by drivers, but they need to understand, you need to understand if you're a personality type, that being around the drivers will actually benefit and raise your game. What we're trying to do is create the highest performance team where the rising tide carries all ships, if that makes sense. And some of you know, I don't give a crap whether you're doing this kind of production or this kind of production. What I care is that all of us, the whole objective here is just to get us all to move a little. So if you're doing something that's very low in production or new in an endeavor, you know, great, I'm proud of you. Let's build to the next step of production, even if it's only incremental. And if you're at a high level of performance, let's get to the next place, even if it's only incremental. So the constitution of the group, the constituents, the personality types, really does matter. It does not mean you won't form a successful group without it. I'm just saying that's the formula for the greatest success in movement. In my, some of you know the story about working with my brother-in-law a number of years ago. In that group, there were literally three, and you might even count a fourth in that group. And as a result, there was a lot of this locker room talk-ish type culture and banter between them because they were friends and knew each other. So that esprit de corps, camaraderie, competition, ability to talk straight with each other and all that kind of stuff is really important. Now, other companies I work for have very different style and personality and still have tremendous results. You still need a couple of people who are leaders, and they like to be challenged by each other. They get impatient with other personality types, but they have to understand that it takes all personality types to build a business. And the others do play a little bit of follow the leader with energy, even if, you know, look, we're just not all the same, but we need each other in order to build. My question for you today is, what might you consider doing to implement, create, or enhance your weekly meeting experience at your organization?